Hello, passengers, and welcome to the Midnight Train, America's second favorite podcast, where we bring the dark to light, where history never dies, where Moody constantly tries to screw me up, where listener discretion, here we go, discretion is always advised. We dive into, make fun of, and joke about the creepy and unsolved mysteries of the world, all while bringing you as much information on each topic as possible. Yes, we are kind of a comedy podcast, and things can get dark, though, like the topics we talk about. So if you're not into that, listen, no hard feelings.
We think we're funny.
Correct.
Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks.
Correct. Right. As long as that's all we just do it for us anyway, right?
We do. We have like 6 people to listen, so we're not doing it for them.
And we're 2 of them. So yeah. You know what I mean? But listen,
wait, you listen to these episodes?
Of course. If you are into it, thanks for giving us a chance and welcome aboard. I am your host, the conductor of the Cryptic, Jonathan Sayer, and with me, of course, is the bearded one, the Sam Squinch Hunter himself. It's Mr. Moody.
Yeah. It's me.
So we recently did a Patreon bonus episode for all you poopers, you Patreon first class passengers, whatever you guys want to call yourself, on the Fox Hollow Manor murders. And wow, that's all I'm going to say.
I cannot believe I've never heard of that before.
Correct.
I can't, especially given the proximity to where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's absolutely insane.
Fuck?
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. So if you guys want to listen to our take on that, and if you haven't seen it, do us a favor, go over to patreon.com/the Midnight Train Podcast and check it out there. Or you can go to the midnighttrainpodcast.com, click on the Patreon button, sign up over there for a cup of coffee or like a...
Dude, it's $5 a month.
Yeah.
You could get more of us, which, I mean, let's be honest, I wouldn't pay $5 for that, but you know, it's worth it, I think.
It's totally worth it.
Dude, we got to make we got to make a commercial. Like fucking, you know where I'm going with this, don't you?
Yeah, go ahead.
For just $5 a month.
With the music, in the arms of you too
can be.
You can support these 2 lonely podcasters. Give them a home. Give their children home.
Pathetic they are. Moody's kids need to eat.
Just have pictures of your kid looking miserable, flashing across the screen.
That's probably any picture of my kids.
All right. Well, listen, let's save the rest of the business stuff until the end. Let's just jump into this. Let's turn down the lights, adjust our seats, grab a drink, which I am drinking Liquid Death. You really out there, Liquid Death really needs to sponsor us. So I'm going to drop their name over and over again because I love it. I'm currently drinking the Grim Leafer, and it is a black tea. It's iced tea, agave, and vitamins. Anyway, it's delicious.
It's good shit, dude. I drink that all the time.
I love it. I love it so much.
We were just talking about that. The teas.
Absolutely.
The teas are great.
The teas are good.
That Dr. Pepper one, though, bro.
Anyone over at Liquid Death, listen, we'll take it. You know what I mean? I'll sign my soul away. Isn't that what they make you do over there?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's
Fuck
fine.
yeah.
So now...
I mean, I don't need it. Right?
Let's get into this, and let's get feral, I guess is what we're going to do.
Like Will Ferrell?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm Ron Burgundy. But
Go
first,
fuck yourself, San Diego.
Here's a toast to all you beautiful motherfuckers.
Is it coming? I think it's coming.
Get yourselves a drink out there. Let's get into this. Let's have some fun. This one's going to be different and interesting, and immediately makes me think of the movie Walk Like a Man.
What?
Walk Like a Man with what's his name? With the bald-headed guy from who what America's Got Talent? What's his name? The weird dude that's got like the germaphobe problem.
Howie Mandel?
Howie Mandel was in a movie back in the day where he was a feral child that grew up into an adult and was raised by wolves.
What?
If you have not, oh my God.
So my question is it say that it's based on a true story?
No, I don't think so.
Because if it is, there's.
We'll get into it. All right, we'll get into it.
I don't know if actually that might be one that I don't. There's a couple of more prevalent ones that I didn't talk about specifically in the episode because there's a lot of conjecture on whether they're true stories or if they were exaggerated for like profit or personal gain or anything like that. So I was going to say we could talk about those and kind of parse them out in a bonus episode because they're kind of interesting to read about. So.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we've all heard the stories of children being raised by wolves and other animals, right? It's a common trope in movies or TV shows like I just mentioned, and we just mentioned, usually played for laughs, but there is truth to these stories. Are there children that have really been raised by animals? Are there actually feral children, aside from Moody's kids, out there roaming around?
Right.
Well, we have the answer for you today on our little itty-bitty train ride. We're going to take a look at the real cases of feral children found in the wild. What were you going to say?
No, I was just.
I did not. Were you going? I was being an asshole in the back.
No, you were like, and we have the answers today on a train, and I was like, really?
Yeah,
that's it. That's all.
We do.
I'm the color commentary here, dude.
Yes, that's right.
You do the heavy.
I just got to glide by it.
You do the heavy lifting,
right.
And I just sit here and act like an asshole.
Right. You're my answer man, right? Yeah.
I'm the I'll look it up real quick guy. Mm-hmm. That's what I do.
Sir Google. So to start, we'll give you a little insight into feral children from Britannica.com. Quote, feral children who through either accident or deliberate isolation have grown up with limited human contact. Such children have often been seen as inhabiting a boundary zone between human and animal existence. For this reason, the motif of the child reared by animals is a recurring theme in myth. In the modern era, feral children have provided a window for the scientific study of fundamental human traits, such as language use. During the 20th century, as psychologists endeavored to distinguish between behaviorism and biological nature, wild children, a designation including children in isolation and those who survived among animals, again seemed to provide a key to the puzzle. So, crazy enough that this shit's actually real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's real. And it's just wild to even think about. And going through this, man, it is so crazy to me.
So real quick though, the one thing that struck me and I didn't even think about it until I started really going into it and like reading about this stuff is that like if you listen to that description, they talk about how it's people in isolation and also people that were raised by animal, whatever. Right. So I never really thought about that. But one of the stories we talk about, I don't know if you went through that part of it or not, about one of the girls that's in this episode. Mm-hmm. Dude, like it was like, holy fuck, they can like, I didn't even consider that in the realm of like a feral child.
Yeah, like,
but it's so fucking brutal and it's so goddamn sad, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
That like,
it's messed up.
But like you don't even think about that because you hear like, oh, feral kids, you just run around out in the woods and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, right. But like you don't think about
scratching with their hind leg and shit.
Yeah, like you don't think about the other aspect of that, though, like the other side of that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It was kind of jarring when I read some of this. I was like, holy fuck, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. So before the 17th century, accounts of feral or wild children in European history were sparse and often intertwined with myth and legend. However, starting in the 1600s, several documented cases emerged. Notable examples include a, quote, wolf boy in Germany and children reportedly abducted by bears in Poland. Now, I
don't talk it. We didn't go into that one, but
I have actually heard other stories too, like where like wild animals in general will actually protect like babies, like little kids and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, you ever seen that video of the kid that fell into the gorilla pen and he's like dragging him around and shit?
Yeah.
And so they, not that one, the other one where she's like protecting it.
Yeah. She like holds him and
holds on to him and like the kid's like kind of limp or whatever like that. Yeah. It's just crazy. So in 1644, the first English account was recorded about John of Liege, a boy lost by his parents in the woods and learned to exhibit animal-like behaviors to survive alone for many years. John of Liege. Or it could
Sounds regal as fuck.
Liege. Liege.
Wow, you're being ridiculous.
Now I'm just going overboard. Sorry. Early description of these children emphasized their non-human characteristics. They ran on all fours, foraged and hunted for food, had exceptional hearing, and lacked language skills, which is just absolutely insane to think about. That your hearing can become enhanced.
Well, I was going to say that's the exact opposite of regular children who don't listen to a fucking thing you say.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Dude.
Maybe that's what we got to do. We got to just let them go and fend for themselves until they're like 12.
Thinking about it. Thinking about it.
As more children were rescued from the wild and reintegrated into human society, their persistent animalistic behaviors and their apparent struggle to acquire language intrigued philosophers. This led to speculation about whether these children might belong to a different species within the human family, which, by the way, did you hear that they actually just discovered a new species of human?
Possibly. What are you talking about?
They found a skull, and it's a different, like, it's not Homo erectus or Homo sapien, it's Homo something else. Stop it, you child. But yeah, they found a new one recently, and it's crazy. Like, yeah, maybe we'll talk about it in a bonus or something like that.
I feel like maybe I heard that, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty cool looking. It's got a great big, like, its brow is like big and stuff, but it's
like
skull.
typical caveman shit.
Yeah, but its skull is like shaped a little bit differently, and they just recently found this. So
you know why?
Why?
Aliens.
It's aliens, of course.
It's a fucking alien skull.
Because if it ain't aliens, it's
Ain't
bullshit.
Yeah.
The question of human development and its complexities was taken seriously in the 18th and 19th centuries as a science sought to name, classify, and understand the natural world. One of the most well-known feral children from the early 18th century was a boy discovered near Hanover in 1725. Known as Peter the Wild Boy, pretty spot on, a name given by the famous physician John Arbuthnot. He captivated the English royal family and spent several years living with King George I and the Prince of Wales.
Wow, this fucking kid was something.
Well, of course, he was a pet. Like other children in the wild, Peter's remarkable silence and ability to survive, much like an animal, prompted scientists to explore the distinction between humans and animals. Within a decade of Peter's discovery, the influential naturalist, oh boy, this guy's name, Carolus Linnaeus, included Homo ferens, or feral man, as one of 6 distinct human species. Stop it. Notably, H. ferens uniquely classifies individuals rather than entire races as examples. So at this point in time, they're actually saying there's an entire
like a
subspecies of human, that's feral. That's insane.
Like another branch of peoples.
So, however, in the 1792 translation of Linnaeus, or Lineals, I don't know how to say Linnaeus, it looks like that, natural system into English, a note was added that such children were probably, quote, idiots.
I fucking forgot about that shit.
Who had been abandoned.
Reading that, dying, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Who had been abandoned or had strayed from their families. So they're just a bunch of little idiots, just a bunch of dummies.
Just like picturing all these scientists, just like they're gathered around talking about, wow, this is blah, blah, blah. You know, like one guy's like, yeah, they're fucking idiots.
Did you hear about his new discovery? Yes, I do believe they were a bunch of fucking idiots.
Like they're literally talking about regular kids.
Yeah. Just dummies. Just dummies.
My kids are fucking idiots.
Yeah, I mean, they can be. Yeah. It was this conflation of feral nature and disability that Jean-Marc Gaspard Itard took up in his project of civilizing one of the most famous cases in Europe. Victor of Aveyron, a wild boy caught in 1800 in the forests near, I'm going to screw this up, Lacan? I'm sure we'll go with that. Philippe Pinel, the foremost physician in France, dismissed Victor as, quote, an idiot.
I'm sorry.
It's so fucked up. And it gets worse, too. As we go through this...
I can't believe that shit was like a legitimate thing.
As we go through this, their language back then was no shits given whatsoever.
We found this girl roaming the woods. She's an idiot.
She's an idiot. Yes. Still, to Itard, the boy was a living artifact.
Still to what?
Itard. That's his name. Oh, no, we'll get into that later. I was reading this going, what the fuck?
I know.
Like you couldn't you don't get away with that shit now.
Oh, goddamn.
So to Attard, the boy was a living artifact, an atavistic body on which to test the notion espoused by John Locke and later by Etienne Bonnot de Condillac that human knowledge was constructed rather than inborn. Okay. So, I mean, it's like nature versus nurture.
So,
right?
yeah, they're trying to test the theory that humans are like born with their abilities and then they just kind of come out when they get older.
Right.
And this guy's saying, like, no, if they don't ever have it, they're never going to learn it, that kind of thing.
Right.
Like, no one never was there to teach them.
Right. Which
it's crazy that, like, even at that point, like, they didn't really like that's when they first started trying to figure that shit out. Like, you think that they would have been doing that shit earlier?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. I mean, this is.
I don't know.
I mean, this is late 1700s. So yeah, I don't know.
I guess.
Well, this is 1800 actually. Yeah, but after several years of training, however, Victor, the little dude here, the idiot, was still unable to use language. A failure that further solidified an understanding of feral children as mentally infantile and inferior. And idiots. So they're idiots, infantile, and inferior. Just fuck them. There you go. Just fuck them.
Oh, goddamn. I just like
Yep.
it. And like, I know back then, like that was like, that's what they said. Like how we say whatever now, but like over 200 and over however many years now, looking back on that shit, it's just funny. Like knowing it in the context of today.
Oh yeah. Because we don't talk like that now. Yeah.
Jesus, dude.
Bunch of little fucking idiots. Presently, most psychologists attribute the inability of such children to master language to the unique histories of survival outside of human society, as a behavioral mechanism specifically adapted to their environment and circumstances rather than a biological inability. Okay, right?
Yeah.
Fascination with wild children, however, remains, and the fates of such children become deeply tied to the doctors, teachers, and caregivers who, through measurement, diagnosis, training, and compassion, inevitably attempt to re-socialize these children and return them to the fold of human interaction. End quote. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of background on feral children, but if being an idiot makes you feral, well, there's a whole lot of feral people out there, aren't there? Yes, there is. All right, so let's talk about some of these feral children cases here. First up, as I mentioned before, is John of Liege, a boy that we mentioned up there, like I said, in Britannica. He is known as one of the earliest recorded feral children in English literature. According to a 1644 account by Sir Kenelm, Kenelm? What a fucking name. Kenelm, Kenelm. And his last name's Digby.
Kenelm Digby.
Sir Kenelm Digby, yes.
Arthur Digby Sellers?
Yeah, what the fuck kind of name? So John, this little dude, John, fled into the woods at the age of 5 to escape enemy soldiers during a religious war. While his family and other villagers returned to their homes after the danger had passed, young John was too terrified to leave his hiding spot. Instead, he ventured deeper into the forest, where he survived alone for 16 years on nothing but roots and wild berries. That's insane.
Yeah. That dude has way more fortitude than I do.
I was about to say, I couldn't.
After about 2 months, I'd have been like, all right, I'm fucking done.
I've been walking out with my hands up like, go ahead, take me. Yeah, it's fine.
Done.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
By the time he was discovered, he had lost the ability to speak, an affliction common among feral children who either miss the critical period for language acquisition or become too traumatized to reintegrate into society. Perhaps the strangest trait observed by Digby was John's keen sense of smell, that of a dog or wolf. He could detect fruits and roots from a considerable distance.
Wow.
It's pretty impressive. That's pretty amazing, actually.
I can smell fast food joints when you're driving down the road. Does that count?
It's because you're looking for him.
No.
Digby explained that John appeared to fall somewhere along the spectrum between man and animal, which was distressing for those who encountered him. One woman felt pity for him, saying it pained her to, quote, see a man so near a beast. John became so attached to her that he would follow her scent like a dog when she went to work in the fields. So there's this little like 21-year-old dude just you know what I mean? chasing her down. God. However, John eventually adapted to society. According to Digby, he became, quote, as other ordinary men were. He learned to speak again, and Digby noted, quote, I imagine he is yet alive to tell a better story or himself than I have done. Unfortunately, that story would never come to light. Some people doubt Digby's account of John's reintegration, suggesting that it was exaggerated and that he did not become civilized as Digby claims. Oh, they're saying he's full of shit. It's fucked up.
We're doing it back then. Bro.
Yeah. Next case is that of the wild boy of Averon.
Yeah.
This is Victor. Yeah. Victor of Averon is one of the most famous and well-documented cases of a feral child. He was likely born around 1788 to 1790 near Lecon, whatever it is, France. Victor was either abandoned or lost in the nearby woods sometime between 1795 and 1797. Okay, so he was, like possibly 6, 7, 8 years old, maybe? Right?
Yeah.
Around that time?
Around there. Somewhere's around there.
He was spotted in these woods in 1798 and briefly captured, but he escaped and remained free for a year before being recaptured for a week in 1799. In January 9th of 1800, he was captured again in Averon, France, where the locals took care of him until August. He was then sent to the Institute for Deaf Mutes in Paris. I know. There, he was evaluated by many of the most prominent figures of the time, including Philippe Pinel and Roch Ambroise Cocoran Sicard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That name.
Wow, dude. Like, if you how could you have not been somewhat famous in your time with a name like that? You know,
I feel like they named themselves.
That dude was destined for greatness.
Yeah, Roch Ambroise Cocoran Sicard.
How do you spell the first name?
R-O-C-H. Roach? Rock, maybe?
Rock. Probably Rock.
The Rock.
That's even tougher, dude.
Roch Ambroise Cocoran Sicard.
That dude sounds like a badass.
Yeah, he does. I just
You know how much pussy that dude probably got?
For some reason, I keep imagining, like, I don't know, Captain Picard for some reason. It's just weird. Yeah. Out there fucking around in the Starship Enterprise.
Picard was a stud, though, man.
Messing with feral children. So the people who encountered Victor regarded him as an utterly they regarded him as an utterly grotesque and untamed being.
Oh my God.
One that seemed devoid of any basic sensory perception.
He was an idiot.
He's an idiot, yeah. Initially, observers concluded that he might even be deaf, as he exhibited no reaction to sounds that would typically startle or draw attention, such as sudden, thunderous noises. Or maybe he's just being a normal kid and ignoring you. You know?
God damn, maybe my kids are fucking feral.
I'm telling you. Instead, he appeared to be entranced only by certain familiar sounds, particularly the satisfying crackle of his preferred nuts being broken open.
So then how would you say that doesn't make sense to me then? These people are like, oh, he's fucking deaf because he never notices these big loud sounds. But he actually can hear little sounds.
Right.
So we still think he's fucking deaf.
But he's an idiot.
How are you going to say that he's deaf and then say that he can hear stuff?
Because he's an idiot. We've established
the guy
this.
who wrote that's an idiot.
True. His apparent lack of cognitive function contributed to their impression of him as a bewildering and primitive creature, lost in a world that was largely indifferent to him. The individual in question exhibited a complete lack of verbal communication skills, relying only on guttural sounds to express himself. His sensory perceptions, particularly in relation to touch and temperature, were notably underdeveloped. For example, he demonstrated a remarkable tolerance for heat, as evidenced by his ability to remove and consume hot potatoes directly from a fire without waiting for them to cool.
He didn't know how to play the game then, huh? He's just eating the fucking potato.
That's not how you play hot potato, bro.
Everyone's passing around. He catches. He's just like, fuck this.
Oh, man. They brought Victor again. He always eats the potato. He's just going to eat the fucking thing. He's an idiot. Additionally, engaging in outdoor activities without clothing during winter appeared to provide him with pleasure rather than discomfort.
I mean, I do that.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen you in a pair of pants.
I go outside my backyard, butt naked, in the snow and roll around.
Oh, dear
It's good
Lord.
for you.
Do you?
Me? No, I've never done that.
Okay.
I do wear shorts year round, though. I'm wearing shorts right now.
Yes,
although it was like 65 degrees.
It was beautiful today. It was.
Yeah.
So the concept of cleanliness seemed to just evade him completely. He often consumed raw or spoiled food with enthusiasm and displayed little regard for personal hygiene. frequently urinating and defecating without concern for the consequences.
That dude was probably like bulletproof. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't going to get sick. There's nothing in this world that's going to fucking, like, there's no normal shit that puts us down that's going to put him down, because he's been eating fucking rotten food and like all the, you know what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely.
That dude was probably just like, that dude was probably invincible.
Well, he also exhibited significant challenges in socialization skills, which, when considered alongside his other underdeveloped traits, painted a concerning picture of his interpersonal interactions. He demonstrated a lack of empathy and genuine interest in others, often preferring solitude. So maybe I am feral. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Because I that sounds like me. I don't like to do much. To Victor, people seem to function merely as tools for achieving his own desires. If they did not provide a practical benefit, he tended to disregard them entirely. This behavior led him to be perceived as a disappointment by those who assessed him, as he failed to embody the ideal of the noble savage often depicted in Rousseau's works.
So the fact that he just uses people to get what he wants, which is what literally all these assholes are doing.
Right.
To this kid, like, they're using him, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, that's literally what everybody does every day.
Yeah.
They're trying to be all like holier than thou about it.
Instead, he mirrored characteristics more commonly associated with a beast than a social being. And of course, like you just said, they were like, well, that's how dare he act like this to us. Given this, Pennell, a well-known physician specializing in mentally ill and this is their words, folks, quote, retarded, deemed the boy retarded. Clinging on to the idea of the noble savage, he asserted that the child was, in fact, not feral at all, but just another
idiot.
No, this is better. Quote, incurable idiot. Yep.
That's what they say, right? There's no cure for stupid, right?
I guess. Like,
they've been saying that shit since the 1700s.
Yep.
Dude. You can't cure stupid.
You can't cure stupid. These are like the many he saw at the asylum he ran in Paris.
Oh, fucking hell.
Sicard, the headmaster of the Parisian Institute for Deaf Mutes, briefly attempted to teach the boy and enroll him in the institute, but soon found him unteachable and left him to wander the campus of the institute with no instruction. So here, you little idiot, just go out in the fucking field.
You know what? You know what is actually pretty impressive, though? If these kids were literally like, you know, special needs or whatever you want to call it, right?
Right.
And they survive for years with animals.
16 for the one. Dude. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's insane.
Like, that's something pretty goddamn special.
That's some perseverance for sure. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy to me.
Yep. So yet a determined young physician named Jean-Marc Gaspard Itard, only 25 years old. He was only 25, openly challenged the prevailing diagnosis of Victor. Victor. That'd be
Who the fuck is Victor?
That'd be a totally different episode. Anyway, so this guy's 25 and he's saying, okay, hold on. Like, I think I can actually do something. So
I don't think he's an idiot. That's what he's trying to say.
Right. So driven by both compassion and conviction, Itard became resolute in his mission to transform what many in the medical community regarded as a lost cause. Deeply influenced by Locke's renowned tabula rasa theory, which is a great band, by the way.
What?
Tabula rasa. Tabula rasa, some people call it. They're like this weird, like avant-garde artsy shit, but it's cool.
Yeah, all right.
Anyway, that's nothing pertaining to this. He believed fervently that the scars of Victor's troubled childhood could indeed be healed. Itard envisioned a future where Victor's dormant mental faculties could flourish once more, provided he received patient, innovative teaching tailored to his needs. So in other words, the kid just needs some help. He needs someone to he needs therapy is what it sounds like. So adopting this guiding philosophy, Dr. Itard graciously welcomed Victor, the wild boy of Aveyron, into his home. Seeing potential within the boy despite his isolated upbringing, he meticulously designed a comprehensive educational program that focused on nurturing Victor's sensory awareness, encouraging him to rely on social interactions for support and learning. So he's catering to him now, as opposed to being like, you should be noble. He's going, yeah, you got to do this. You all right over there?
No, dude, I'm hearing shit.
Moody's high, by the way.
But no, I'm hearing, I don't know what the fuck it is, dude.
What the fuck are you listening for?
It's really weird. It sounds like it's really faint. It almost sounds like a gun, like a really quiet, like gunshot. But when I hear it, like when I take the headphone off, it doesn't make it sound any different. And it sounds like it's like right here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's hard to describe.
You live in the hood, right?
Not really. I don't know.
Oh, well, then don't worry.
I'm hood adjacent, but that's like far enough away that you don't hear the gunshots.
Hood adjacent.
You don't hear the gunshots, though.
I'll let you know if I see anybody like in your window behind you. Yeah. You'll be all right. It's feral children coming to get you.
I'm not gonna lie, like I'm getting a weird feeling right now. Fucking like, I don't know.
So this guy Attard, he goes, okay, I know what we need to do to this guy. So we're gonna really dive deep into this, and it's like therapy for this kid. All right, this little feral kid. So this program aimed to develop Victor's speech by introducing him to language through consistent verbal interactions, thereby enhancing his cognitive development. Additionally, Attard sought to cultivate Victor's ability to engage meaningfully with the people around him, fostering his social skills and helping him form connections that would enrich his understanding of the world. You know, not like that last guy who called him an idiot and sent him out in the fucking field to play.
Just go, Steve, whatever.
Yeah. Get out of here, you incurable idiot. So with the unwavering support of Madame Guerin, a compassionate and determined local Frenchwoman who took on the role of Victor's caretaker, Attard dedicated 6 transformative years of his life to working with Victor. 6 years, damn. This boy, once deemed beyond hope, wild and bestial, began to emerge from the shadows of his primal existence. Under Attard's patient guidance, Victor made remarkable strides, overcoming numerous obstacles in his journey towards social interaction and cognitive understanding. Yet, despite these significant advancements, Attard faced a profound and heartbreaking reality. He could never fully restore Victor to the semblance of normalcy that he and others longed for. So they're seeing some improvement.
Right.
But he's never going to be
learning some things. He's chilling out a little bit.
Yeah, he's never going to be like the pillar of his community and everyone, let's take him out and meet the queen. Yes. He's not going to be that guy. But I mean, I guess little battles, man.
You know what? He's an idiot. What are you going to do?
He is an idiot, yeah. So Attard's initial focus with Victor was on developing his sensations and perceptions. Victor exhibited a striking inability to recognize or differentiate between various sensory experiences. For instance, he reacted to hot and cold temperatures with the same indifference, unable to comprehend the variations that would typically elicit distinct responses in a typical person. Like, me, you, everybody else that pretty much knows, like, ouch, that's hot. Ooh, that's cold. Victor's just not getting it. He's just like, meh. Meh. So, similar.
His skin was probably so fucking like.
That's what I was thinking too. What if it's calloused from walking on all fours?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like his hands, like they were probably. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So also,
from working in a kitchen, like you become immune to that shit because you touch hot shit so much.
Oh yeah.
So like you can grab shit right out of the oven. You can do whatever, dude.
Yeah.
I wonder. It's got to be something like that.
I would assume. I would assume so. But back then they were like, "Oh, he's an incurable idiot." That's whatever. So also, when exposed to different sounds, Victor showed no signs of differentiation. It was as if each sound registered in his mind as an indistinguishable noise. Okay. Furthermore, so he basically didn't understand any sounds. So furthermore,
it was just all like noise. Basically,
it was just it was all the same shit. It was just fucking white noise. Furthermore, he appeared to lack any sense of pain. Even when subjected to stimuli that would usually cause discomfort, Victor remained unreactive, highlighting a profound disconnect from the sensory world around him. I'm just thinking the kid's just messed up. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe he just doesn't. I mean, because that seems like something that. How could your sense of like pain or tolerance go away, from just being out there for so long? You know what I mean? Like, how does that make sense?
I just think that like I feel like it's one of those things where it's like he was just so used to being exposed to like the elements, like the extreme heats, the colds, whatever it might be, that like his body just adapted to where his like what your extreme is and what my extreme is not where his is pushed beyond that because of the shit that he had to go through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like your body's adapting. That's what he adapted to his environments.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like it just kind of desensitized him to like when you grab something hot and you're like, fuck, like whatever, like to him, that's like warm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So to address Victor's condition, Itard and Guerin, the madam, implemented a rigorous regimen that included daily long hot baths lasting several hours. That sounds amazing.
I know, right?
During these sessions, they meticulously cleaned him, employing gentle massage techniques to soothe his body. Again, sounds great. Over the span of 3,
I'm in, dude. Let's do this.
I'm down. Over the span of 3 transformative months, Victor's sensory awareness began to emerge. He first learned to distinguish between hot and cold water, a milestone that triggered a remarkable cascade of sensory developments. So there you go. It's basically just got to, like, I guess, turn it on.
Right. Well, or think about it. Like, it's the same thing that we were just talking about, though. Like, his body had adapted. And now that he doesn't need any of that, right? His body is starting to go back to, like, I guess its normal state.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like, he's starting to understand that there is a difference instead of just being like, oh, it's, you know, it's not right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So with this newfound awareness, Victor demonstrated a growing autonomy. He became vocal about his preference for the water temperature, insisting on a comforting warmth that suited him. And now when we say vocal, we'll get to that part in a second here.
Yeah.
Nighttime accidents became a thing of the past as he adapted to the sensation of dryness and sought out clothing to cover himself, which he had previously resisted. So he was probably pissing himself before because it just didn't, it was just what he was used to.
He would just normally go wherever he was
Yeah.
at and whatever.
So his desire for connection also blossomed. He began to seek out and genuinely enjoy physical affection from those around him, forging a deeper bond with his caretakers. Well, you know, starting to like, he's warming up. He's like a feral cat. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you get a cat that's been feral forever and it's like the little motherfucker doesn't want to come around. But you give him a little bit of TLC and show him that you're not going to punt the fucker. You know, they become, you know.
You still might.
Well, yeah, well, they don't know that. But I'm kidding, folks.
So you got to reel them in before they get
right. Most significantly, Victor experienced the profound human reactions of sneezing and crying for the first time. Which sneezing, isn't that just a typical bodily function?
Every animal sneezes.
Right.
A fucking dog sneezes all the time. It's stupid as shit.
Yeah. It's dude, you ever watch those videos of dogs sneezing and how they just fucking, their faces just go nuts, like like it looks like they're exploding. Are you still here?
Dude,
I think you're high.
what the fuck? Bro, I don't know what's going on, man. It sounds like a fucking lawnmower.
Like a lawnmower?
Yeah, dude, it's weird. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's happening right now. I think there's shit like the whole fucking neighborhood's probably burning down. I don't even give a fuck.
Yeah, fuck it. Well, this sneezing and crying for the first time, okay, it actually signified not only physiological progress, but also an awakening of his emotional and sensory faculties. After amplifying Victor's sensory perceptions, Itard shifted his focus to the intricate world of speech. Given Victor's apparent near deafness to the sounds of human conversation, Itard embarked on his mission by meticulously teaching Victor to identify distinct phonemes, like phonetics.
Yeah.
Phonemes. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that word before. Phonemes.
Phonemes.
That's what it looks like. Phonemes.
Give me some of them phonemes.
You got them phonemes? No, I got them phonemes. So these are those elemental sounds that form the backbone of spoken language. Okay, so it's phonetics, whatever it is. Yeah,
you could probably use that.
Yeah. Victor embraced this training with surprising agility. His keen instincts responding to the lesson was enthusiasm, and that's fucked up. However, despite his ability to recognize these individual sounds, the transition to articulating them himself proved to be a more daunting challenge. Like a bird that can see the sky but struggles to take flight. So in other words, he was understanding it, but he just couldn't articulate the shit, you know? Like he couldn't say it.
So this comes back in I think this comes back in another about another person we talk about. And they're basically thinking that because they weren't when they were young babies, when they were the formative years, when you were learning how to talk and do whatever, since nobody was making those sounds around them, they physically can't make those sounds.
Right. Yeah.
So I forget what the example was, like the way a certain letter sounds, like an L or an R or something like that. Their bodies cannot form that sound. Like they can't do it. Like they don't know that sound. They can't physically make that sound.
Right.
Which is fucking nuts to me.
Yeah, that is insane. So Victor demonstrated a very limited ability to articulate these sounds, producing only a few of these phonemes, whatever the hell. He could do O, li, la, and do. Okay. His vocabulary, while modest, included 3 words. U for water, O do to express surprise or emotion, and light.
Oh, do.
Oh, do. Oh, do.
Oh, do.
And it's L-A-I-T, which I believe this is in France, so late, right?
Or just lay. The T might be silent.
Yeah, that's true, which referred to milk.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Itard recognized a unique potential in Victor, particularly noting his ability to say lay or late. Initially, Itard was encouraged by this, believing that Victor had formed an association between the word and the object it represented, milk. So now he can identify something and actually use a term
right.
to identify it.
He had his own word for it or whatever.
Right. When Victor would utter late or late upon being presented with milk, Itard saw this as a significant step in language development. Of course, he's actually seeing something and going, like when you got a little baby and you're like, bottle or banana or even dada, mama, anything like that. Yeah. You get that connection in there.
They finally recognize, the words to the what they are.
However, as time went on, Itard discovered that Victor's use of lay or late was more of a conditional response than a true understanding of the word's meaning. Rather than actively using the term to request milk or acknowledge its significance, Victor seemed to vocalize it instinctively in reaction to the drink. So it wasn't even so much what he had there, it was more of a there's something there that I like kind of thing.
So he just said, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So this insight revealed the need to further support and learning opportunities to help Victor develop a deeper understanding of language and its connections to the world around him. Victor started saying lay or late whenever he felt happy, or even just at fun, or for fun at random times, just sitting around going, lay, lay.
Maybe that's his version of fuck. Right? Like,
it could
I
be.
use it for everything.
Yeah, it could. It very well
every
could
time
be.
somebody like he'd bring him milk, he's just like, yeah, fuck.
Fuck.
He gets mad. He's like, fuck. It's the same thing.
I mean, it's very possible. Very possible.
His version of it, dude.
So Itard had put a lot of effort into trying to teach him to talk, but after a few years, he realized he needed to change his approach. It was pretty clear that Victor had a hard time making most sounds and couldn't really connect any meaning to the few he could say. This made Itard think that his name could be Itard. I don't know. It's Itard. I'm just going to say Itard. That sounds better.
Amazing. It's amazing either way.
Well, this made him think about trying different ways to help Victor communicate and learn to learn things that fit his, basically his unique situation. So after the setback, Itard decided to shift his attention to helping Victor with reading and writing. At first, this proved to be quite challenging, of course, as Victor struggled to differentiate between the shapes of the letters and understand their meaning. To make things easier, Itard started using physical models of basic shapes, patiently guiding Victor until he was able to recognize these shapes. Gradually, they worked their way up to more complex shapes like letters, paving the way for Victor's learning journey, which, it's pretty amazing to me that you can get this kid who literally couldn't do anything that a normal person could do, and you're starting to teach him how to actually be, a human being. So Victor quickly picked up the idea of spelling out letters as Itard had shown him, and he even started to connect meanings to the written word lay or late, which is pretty impressive. Given some of the challenges he faced, Itard also used visual signs and pictures to help Victor understand different concepts better. Okay, so he's starting to connect things. Yeah. What's really cool is how much Victor blossomed socially. Although he initially seemed a bit distant and wrapped up in his own world when he first arrived at the Institute for Deaf Mutes. It just sounds so weird. The Victor who emerged under Itard's care was a caring...
At least it's not the Institute for Idiots.
Yeah, Incurable Idiots. Yeah, which I'm surprised there's not one of those. So next thing you know, though, Victor comes out and he's like he's
I can never build a building big enough, my friend.
That's true. Oh, we live in it. But he starts to become like a more, he's just caring and curious, and like he's a kid. He's starting to act like a kid.
Right.
And when
like
he
an
went
actual like a person.
Right.
Instead of more of like an animal, yeah.
Right. He went from being someone who mostly kept to himself and only engaged when he was hungry or tired to being genuinely attached to both Itard and his caregiver, Guerin. You could see his emotions now. He felt shame and guilt when he was disciplined, but also pure joy when either of them came back. There was a touching moment when Victor ran away for 2 weeks, and when he was reunited with Guerin, his caretaker, he couldn't help but burst into tears. He was a little hesitant with Attard at first, but after gauging the situation, he ran up and hugged him tightly, tears of happiness streaming down his face. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy to me that these people actually existed.
Yeah.
And not only did they survive by themselves in the wild, but then have to be readapted into, to being a human being. It's baffling to me. So Victor showed a heartwarming ability to feel empathy, especially after the passing of his caretaker, Guerin's husband. Typically, he would set an extra plate at the dinner table for Guerin's husband as part of his daily routine. However, when he saw Guerin burst into tears, he instinctively took away that plate and didn't put it back again. Oh, that's freaking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Jesus. For someone who faced challenges in many other ways, this moment really showcased a special sensitivity in Victor. It was a touching reminder of how he could connect with the feelings around him. After 6 years of dedication and effort with Victor, the once optimistic Attard faced the sobering reality that he had reached the limits of what he could achieve with Victor. Despite pouring tens of thousands of hours into the experiments, Victor remained frozen in his development, a silent figure trapped within the confines of his own mind, unable to utter a single word or grasp even the faintest semblance of normalcy. Yet, Attard clung tenaciously to his environment, his beliefs here, lamenting that perhaps if he had begun his work with Victor just a few years earlier, which hindsight, you know what I mean, he might have been able to mend the scars of Victor's tragic upbringing. With a heavy heart, he entrusted Victor into the care of Guerin and diverted his focus back to his research on deafness. So basically, he's like, I can't do much with him. Here you go. I tried. 6 years, dude. I tried.
Yeah.
So as the years passed, Victor lived quietly under Guerin's watchful eye, his existence a testament to unfulfilled potential until he quietly slipped away at the age of 40 in 1828. So he just stayed with his caretaker. He loved her,
Yeah.
So basically, she just had this little
idiot,
wild idiot, that just stayed there. So in the twilight of his life, Attard underwent a profound transformation, reflecting on his endeavors with Victor. He came to regard himself as a fool, chastising the misplaced hope that had once led him to believe he could erase the deep-seated effects of Victor's challenges. So the guy felt bad afterwards. He's, man, I shouldn't have gave up, Attard was not alone in criticizing his work with Victor. Many
he was saying that he couldn't. He was thinking that himself that he was dumb to even think that he could have done it. Not that he didn't do it.
Oh, is that what you got from that?
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He's like, I can't believe that I actually thought that I could fucking,
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like, I'm such a dumbass for wasting 6 years on this shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he wasn't the only one that criticized this whole thing with Victor. Many reading his work since have questioned why Attard never tried teaching sign language, which I was actually going to ask that myself.
Yeah.
Which Attard obviously knew fluently as an educator and researcher of the deaf. Like, why?
Wow, dude.
That's what this guy did at his institute.
Right?
Why
he was never like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's weird. Several modern psychologists have also opined that Victor was not, in fact, feral, but mentally, quote, mentally retarded, psychotic, or autistic, and was abandoned in the woods because of this.
Wow.
So not only are they saying, oh, he's not feral, he's just a dummy.
He's retarded and psychotic.
Wait, mentally retarded, psychotic, or autistic, and was abandoned in the woods because of this problem.
Listen to the three things they just lumped together.
Yeah, none of those are at all even remotely related.
Like, at least you can make a case for like mentally retarded and autism, but then you throw psychotic in, like, that's hurtful, dude.
Yeah,
That's
I don't hear anything psychotic in his demeanor or anything like that. Like, I don't get that. But then again, back then,
I can't believe you would even lump autism and like that in with being psychotic.
Yeah, that's weird. That is weird.
Not good for business, right?
It's
there.
not like he went and murdered a bunch of people, like
That's what
shit.
I'm saying, man.
As Roger Shattuck notes, it was not uncommon for French families to abandon their mentally handicapped children in the woods. And there was a persistent rumor going around in Lacan, France, that a local family had abandoned their child in the nearby forest because he was mute.
Bro.
That's not even mentally...
So
mute doesn't mean that you're mentally defunct.
So listening to this, like no fucking wonder that there were all of a sudden reports of feral children running around. Like, of course there were. If like you had a baby and you're like, man, fuck it, throw it out in the woods.
Fuck it. Yeah.
Well, like, as soon as you realize the kid's not normal, they're just like, well, I'm going to go drop him off in the park. Okay. See you later, buddy.
Go on, little buddy.
Fuck.
Go on.
How could you do that? How could you do that to a kid?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't.
That's fucking brutal, dude.
I can't do that to an animal, let alone a child. You know what I mean? Like, that's so weird. But it gets a little worse here, too. So Victor had a thin scar across his neck that everyone kind of believed was due to human contact. Probably because somebody actually tried to murder him. Yeah. This poor dude. In any case, critics agree that Victor had been in the woods in complete solitude for several years. It's arduous journey with Victor sparked a profound interest in the education of individuals with mental disabilities who had long been regarded as beyond hope. In an era when society often dismissed these individuals as unteachable and just threw them in the fucking woods, Victor emerged as a beacon of potential, demonstrating that even those with limited cognitive faculties could grasp their simplest concepts with the right guidance. The innovative techniques developed by Attard to communicate and interact with Victor have endured through the ages, finding their place not only in special education, but also within Montessori schools across the globe, illuminating the paths of countless learners. So at least something good came out of it. You know, if you couldn't help Victor, at least what he was teaching has become like kind of the model for future, you know, working with future people, you know. So Victor's
he basically like set the blueprint for a long time on like how to deal with people with those disabilities.
Absolutely. Like, dude,
because it was one of those like, well, look what he did with this kid. Like, if we can start doing it earlier in their development, and we, you know what I mean, like whatever, like we can hopefully get them past that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Victor's experience became a compelling illustration of, quote, the critical period theory in linguistics, a concept suggesting that if children are not exposed to language during a crucial window in their development, they may never acquire the ability to communicate, kind of what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
While the outcome of Victor's education may not have achieved the monumental success that he hoped for, his story continues to resonate deeply in contemporary discussions about learning and language, leaving an indelible mark on our understanding of human potential and the complexities of communication and the formative years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so important to have those formative years, because that's literally going to teach you, what do they say? The first 5 years of your life, you're a sponge.
Yeah,
or is it 2 years? I know it's a very short.
There's like a little window where they're like,
like you learn the most, and you're ever going to learn within the first like 2 years or some shit like that.
Yeah, I made sure I ignored all my kids during that time.
That's why they all play hockey.
Trying to toughen them up.
Yeah. So all of the info in this section was taken from a great article by a guy who goes by Haberdasher, written for the website alcation.com. All right, so this next one is a little bit crazy here. And first of all, of course it is, because of the name I have to now pronounce. Marie Angelique Mimi Leblanc.
Oh, that's not bad, though.
I like the sound of this one, you know. Hey.
Bet she was a looker.
Yes, it's been a little while. I do like her. In the year 1731, the quaint village of Songy, nestled in the lush French countryside, became the setting for a curious sight.
Fuck, dude, I gotta start writing down all this shit you say. Start pointing. Like those are gonna end up in the dictionary one day.
I need Attard to help me. This is so dumb. So one sunny afternoon, the townsfolk caught a glimpse of a wild young girl. Her attire made up of tattered animal rags that hung loosely off her frame. She stealthily navigated through the orchard's boughs, her nimble fingers plucking ripe succulent apples from the branches above. The villagers, with their keen eyes and whispering speculation, found it nearly impossible to determine her age. She could have been as young as 10 or as old as 18. Seemed a pretty big window. Her presence, a blend of innocence and wildness, stirred intrigue and concern among the locals, weaving a tale that would linger in their memories. When the villagers sent a bulldog her way, she killed it with one fatal blow and escaped into the woods in mere moments. But fuck, that poor fucking dog. Oh my God. Well, I mean, I guess that's what, don't sick your dog on, Anyway.
Yeah, girl, I would not fuck with that.
No. So the villagers eventually captured her and soon realized that she didn't speak any formal language. Instead, she communicated much like an animal, often howling. Hospitalized in Chalons, or Chalons, or Chalons. Chalons? Yeah. Schlong. Yes, and Schlong. It's Schlong now. She was baptized as Marie Angelique Mimi Leblanc. With that, doctors and other experts immediately moved toward, quote, civilizing her. It was clear that she had only been eating raw meat when doctors fed her cooked food and all of her teeth fell out.
Is that a thing?
I'm just sure. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, do they think it was? Hold on. Do they think it was legitimately because they served her cooked meat instead of raw meat, or could it be because she never brushed her fucking teeth before?
Ever. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, but that's what they're saying. So the feral child's origins were only revealed in 1755 when biographer Marie Catherine Homacel, what's with these names? Marie Catherine Homacel Hoquet published an account of a savage girl.
They used to do it right back in the day.
God. This was actually called an account of a savage girl in collaboration with LeBlanc. Oh. A Native American girl, LeBlanc had allegedly been painted black and sold as a slave in Wisconsin at age 7.
How fucking dumb was the guy who bought this?
But what the fuck?
No, 100%. That's ridiculous. But seriously, how fucking dumb was that guy?
He was like, oh, looks right.
I'll take that one, I guess.
I guess. It's fine.
Are you sure? Yeah, why? What's wrong with her?
Her skin seems to be peeling off. She got a condition? Like, do I got to wear? Why? I don't know why he has a. It was a French dude that got her. Yeah, I don't know. So a French woman actually sold to a French woman. LeBlanc was put on a France-bound ship. Okay. Many believe that the boat in question.
Hold on.
Yeah, you heard that right.
Did they know that she wasn't black at that point, or was there a point where she literally started whatever they used to paint her started coming off, and they were like, wait a minute.
Well, the funny thing to me is,
what's going on here?
Doesn't LeBlanc mean the white?
I don't fucking know, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the white in French. So that's, I don't know. That's just weird that they thought she was a black girl and they ended up calling her LeBlanc.
I just want to know how long either it was so obvious and dumb that they were just like, all right, let's just take that one and get her the fuck out of here.
Well, if it wasn't washing off of her then, it definitely did when the boat capsized because because they had a shipwreck and she washed ashore with another girl.
What kind of dumbass plot twist is that, dude? You can't just shoehorn a shipwreck in here.
Maybe that's how it washed off. I don't know. From there, they both became. So her and this other girl, they both became feral. Okay.
What? There was two of them?
There was two, yeah. And slept in the wilderness, surviving on raw squirrels, foxes, and rabbits. At some point.
Was it on an island or something?
I'm not sure. It said it was on the way to France, as far as I know. It says it was a France-bound ship. So who knows whatever they washed up at. So at some point, they actually separated, and LeBlanc was eventually captured, like we said earlier. Despite her traumatic start to life, LeBlanc would eventually regain her health while in the hospital. Even more incredible, she soon learned to speak French under the tutelage of several patient teachers, apparently regaining linguistic abilities that had been lost for quite some time. She was gawked at by intellectuals and high society people in France as a former, quote, savage who had become refined. Mingling with nobility, LeBlanc was given a generous allowance by a duke and permitted to explore Europe. For a brief period of time, she even tried her hand at becoming a nun. While the duke's death in 1752 left LeBlanc without financial recourse, she was soon able to secure her patrons thanks to her numerous wealthy connections. By the time she died at the age of 63 in 1775, She was wealthy. It was said that she preferred to wear silk and velvet clothing, and yet she still maintained a certain wildness in her appearance. So I guess the best thing that could have happened to her was being sold off into slavery, painted like a black child. I don't know. That's so weird, man. Like, how do you...
I guess. That's fucking...
like, it's so... And what did they use to do that?
I don't know.
So, wow, that's weird. That's so weird. The information about LeBlanc came from an article on allthatinteresting.com by Marco Margaratov. That's it. Next up is Dinah Shanachar, a boy raised by wolves who some say may have inspired Mowgli from the Jungle Book.
Oh.
In 1867, a group of hunters traveling through the forests of Bulandshar in northern India came across an extraordinary and unsettling sight. In the dense jungle, a human child was moving on all fours, followed closely by a pack of wolves. The pack soon retreated into a cave, leaving the hunters shocked and unnerved by what they just witnessed. Determined to investigate, the hunters set fire at the mouth of the cave, forcing the wolves to emerge. As the animals came out, the hunters killed them and rescued the kid. What the fuck?
You just killed that kid's family.
Yeah, what the fuck? So the boy, who appeared to be no older than 6, showed no signs of recognizing or responding to the hunters. He avoided them entirely, moving and behaving more like the wolves that had actually raised him. Concerned for his survival in the harsh jungle, the hunters decided to take him to the Sikandra Mission Orphanage in Agra. At the orphanage, the missionaries gave the boy a name, as he didn't have a name. They didn't know what to call him. They called him, it's D-I-N-A, so it's Dina.
Yeah,
it's a
that's
boy.
that's how I was reading it, but I don't know.
Dina Sanachar, inspired by the Hindi word for Saturday, the day he arrived at the mission. During his time at the Sikandra Mission Orphanage, Dina Sanachar was often referred to as Wolf Boy. The name reflected the belief that he had been raised by wild animals, pretty spot on again, with no prior contact with humans. His behavior only reinforced this notion, as it was strikingly animalistic. Sanachar moved on all fours and struggled to walk upright. Dude, you have to watch that movie, the Walk Like a Man movie. You have to watch that. It is the dumbest, like...
Is it like a comedy?
It's a comedy.
Okay.
But it's a really bad... I'm pretty sure Cloris Leachman's the mom in it.
Really?
Yeah, dude. It's so bad that it's good. It's one of those movies. It's Walk Like a Man.
1987.
Yep. Seriously, it's just ridiculous. Everyone out there...
A young man who has been raised by dogs in the wild after going missing as a boy. Bobo Shand.
Bobo!
Yeah. When Penny, an animal behaviorist, stumbles across him far from civilization. Attempting to help Bobo adjust to life with humans, Penny reunites him with his family, including his doting mother, Margaret, who is played by Cloris Leachman.
Yeah, Cloris Leachman. Yeah.
However, his brother, Christopher Lloyd,
yeah, that's right. He hates
isn't
him.
happy to see him since Bobo may receive the money he was slated to inherit.
Dude, it's the dumbest movie ever, but you have to watch it because it's just so stupid. Anyway,
Christopher
Lloyd's in it. Yeah.
Jesus,
it was like a pretty big cast back then. I mean, that's what this reminds me of.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so bad. So the name reflected, again, the Wolf Boy thing reflected that he was raised by wolves. And again, he moved on all fours. He preferred a raw meat and frequently gnawed on bones as though he's sharpening his teeth. Quote, the facility with which they got along on all 4 feet, hands and feet, is surprising. The facility with which they get along on all 4 feet. That's just weird how that's put. Earhart Lewis, the orphanage superintendent, wrote to a colleague, quote, before they eat or taste any food, they smell it. And when they don't like the smell, they throw it away. They're referring to him as they. That's so weird. Communicating with Sanachar proved to be a significant challenge. He didn't speak any language, instead expressing himself through growls and howls akin to a wolf. Attempts to use gestures or pointing to communicate also failed. So none of that shit worked on this guy. Though the missionaries worked to integrate him into human society, Sanachar never learned to speak. It's possible that the sounds of human language were too unfamiliar, making them nearly impossible for him to replicate. Again, because if you don't get that early on in life, you don't understand those noises, those tones, you know? So over time, however, he began to adopt certain human behaviors. He eventually learned to walk upright, dress himself, and even mastered what some might call humanity's most peculiar pastime. He smoked cigarettes.
Dude, when you got to he master, I was like, wait.
He's just standing around.
Yeah.
Put it down, Bobo.
I don't know where you're going with this, but I don't like it.
No, he smoked cigarettes, so that's what he liked to do.
I mean, why not, right?
So Sanachar did manage to form a connection with one person during his time at the orphanage. Another feral child discovered in Uttar Pradesh's Manipuri region, who had also been brought to Sakandra. Damn, these names. Father Earhart observed this unusual relationship, remarking, quote, a strange bond of sympathy attached these two boys together, and the elder one first taught the younger to drink out of a cup. Oh. Kind of odd how they like glamored onto each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Sanachar.
Yeah, you can smell your own, bro.
I guess, yeah. Sanachar spent the rest of his life under the care of the orphanage, but even after more than 20 years of living among humans, he never fully adapted to their ways. Social norms and typical human behaviors seemed out of reach for him, as if the imprint of his early years in the wild was too deep to erase. In 1895, at the age of 34, he passed away from fucking tuberculosis.
Hey, there we go.
Damn it. Seriously, every fucking episode. The crazy thing is, Sanachar was not the only child with a wild past living at the orphanage. Okay, like we said earlier, he actually kind of became friends with one. Yeah, according to Superintendent Earhart Lewis, the orphanage was home to two other boys and a girl who were also believed to have been raised by wolves. That is baffling to me.
There's a lot of kids being raised by wolves.
Right.
What the fuck are they doing over there?
Yeah, we'll throw them out in the woods. Remember?
Jesus, well, that was France.
That is true. Maybe that was just a thing back then. Their presence suggests that cases like Sanachar's, though extraordinary, were not entirely unique during that time. Yikes. One geographer even claimed that the orphanage had taken in so many, quote, wolf children over the years that it became almost routine. What? Adding to these accounts, British General Sir William Henry Sleeman documented at least 5 other stories of children who had survived in the wilds of India. One account goes as follows. Quote, there is now at Sultanpur a boy who was found alive in a wolf's den near Shandor, about 10 miles from Sultanpur, about 2 years and a half ago. The way they talk.
2 years and a half ago.
Yeah. A trooper sent by the native governor of the district to Shandor to demand payment of some revenue was passing along the bank of the river near Shandor about noon when he saw a large female wolf leave her den, followed by 3 whelps and a little boy. The boy went on all fours and seemed to be on the best possible terms with the old dam and the 3 whelps, and the mother seemed to guard all 4 with equal care. They all went down to the river and drank without perceiving the trooper, who sat up upon his horse watching them. As soon as they were about to turn back, the trooper pushed on to cut off and secure the boy, but he ran as fast as the whelps could and kept up with the old one. The ground was uneven and the trooper's horse could not overtake them. They all entered the den, and the trooper assembled some people from Shandor with pickaxes and dug into the den. When they had dug in about 6 or 8 feet, the old wolf bolted with her 3 whelps and the boy. The trooper mounted and pursued, followed by the fleetest young men of the party. And as the ground over which they had to fly was more even, he headed them and turned the whelps and boy back upon the men on foot, who secured the boy and let the old dam and her 3 cubs go on their way. Well, at least they didn't kill him.
Oh yeah, that's good.
But he's saying he caught the boy. So the boy in Sir Henry and William Henry Sleeman's account survived only a few months after being brought into human society. Yikes. While Dina Sanachar... Say what?
That's kind of crazy.
I mean, it's separation, right? Wouldn't that be like separation anxiety maybe or something?
Or like just the fact that like, I mean, I guess if you think about for animals too, it's the same way, like just being ripped out of your natural, like where you're just being thrown into like a modern society after being raised and living in the,
Well, it's a culture shock to say the least.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So while Sanachar was not the only wolf child discovered during this period, his story stands apart. Unlike most others who succumbed to the challenges of adapting to a new environment, Sanachar was one of the few to survive into adulthood. So now we found some other stories, all right? Stories of feral children, wolf children, monkey children, all kinds of shit. And we'll probably talk about a few more in a bonus, particularly one man named Lucas, a.k.a. Baboon Boy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
While doing research, we came across an article including an excerpt from a memoir written about the baboon boy by a man who claimed to have known Lucas when he was a child. He claimed that as a child he met he met him and would speak with him. It says he met like and would like speak with him.
Why are you so stupid?
Why are you so stupid, Billy? Oh my God. He would speak with him and see him around as he lived with a neighboring farmer at the time. He claimed that he never questioned the authenticity of the story that he was likely kidnapped and raised by baboons. At the same time, we came across a research paper that was a case study in the entire story of the baboon boy. In the paper, it essentially deconstructs the story using research done by several people that had worked to authenticate the tale. They were unable to authenticate any of the accounts of Lucas being the baboon boy. Instead, they claimed there was evidence that he was a farmhand and suffered several injuries, including a fairly severe head wound. Jesus fucking Christ. They also clarified him as, quote, a low-grade imbecile. Here's another one. We got to get a list.
Oh, shit.
That just says, like, what is it? Inconsolable idiot and a low-grade imbecile.
Incurable idiots and low-grade... Dude.
You, sir.
That's going to be on a shirt.
Yes.
Incurable idiots and low-grade imbeciles.
Okay, write that down. Send that to me. Yeah, that's going on a shirt.
You know what? That's what we're going to call our poopers from now on.
That's Incurable idiots and low-grade imbeciles. Oh man.
Holy shit, dude.
I think that's just the name of the show from here on. You'll be the incurable idiot and I'll be the low-grade imbecile.
That would actually be a great name for a podcast.
Absolutely. So this is a story that we would like to get into, as the research paper actually quoted the same memoir that the excerpt we found came from. So the story is interesting in itself, plus all the research and backstory made for interesting reading. Well, we wouldn't have time to include all the facets in this episode, but look out for a bonus on that: the baboon boy and the low-grade imbecile.
That sounds like a bad movie. Baboon boy and the low-grade imbecile.
Don Knotts starred in it. Andy, can I put my bullet in, Andy?
I'm a low-grade imbecile.
Andy, did you call me a low-grade imbecile? Oh, shit. There's also the story of a girl called Jeannie. She was considered feral for a completely different reason. At the age of 20 months, her father, who by all accounts...
Yeah, this is the one I was talking about.
Yeah. Her father, who was a giant hunk of shit, apparently, thought she was, quote, mentally retarded. And so he said, fuck it, and kept her locked in a dark room, strapped to a potty chair or in a crib where she couldn't move. Jesus. What?
Yeah.
Anytime she would attempt to make doing what he, anytime she would do anything, he would beat her, right? And when he did communicate with her, he would grunt, or she would grunt and bark. Oh no, he would grunt and bark at her. That's weird.
Bark at her, yeah.
She dealt with this until she was almost 14 years old. At that time, she was severely malnourished and the size of an 8-year-old, and had the motor skills of a baby. She could only speak a few words, which included "stop it" and "no more." Fuck.
And if you look at the way they wrote them as like one word.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like "stop it." It was like "stop it."
Yeah, stop it. No more. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a ton of crazy shit with this case as well. And yeah, we'll probably do a bonus. We have to do a bonus on that because I'm extremely curious about this.
It's
in the most macabre
crazy,
way
dude.
because it's super fucked. That's super fucked. So feral children do exist and have been written about for some time. While some seem to be more fiction than fact due to the circumstances of finding said children, there are those out there that seem to be legitimate, and they are definitely interesting stories to read about. And like we said, we'll probably visit some more of these in a bonus. All right, so let's see here. The top 10 evil children movies, all right? Is that what we got coming up here?
Yeah.
The top 10 evil children movies, because we couldn't find a list of feral kids movies.
There was like I found lists of movies that were supposed, like quote unquote, with feral children in them. But like there wasn't like an actual list. You know what I mean? Like a top 10 or anything.
Right. Well,
like I could find a list of movies that involve feral children, but there was no like ranking or anything like that. And then at that point, like, what are we even doing?
Right, exactly. Well, without further ado, it's the movies.
And now, boys and girls, it's your favorite part of the show, the movie review. Which top 10 movies will make the cut today?
Ta-da. I can't believe we're still using that intro after
so
all
good,
these
though.
years.
It's
After
so
all these
good.
years. Yeah, that's so
There's no
funny.
reason to change it.
No, absolutely. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
So we are going to collider.com. Thank you, Collider, for your information. And we are talking about the top 10 best horror movies about evil children. Dun, dun, dun. God, the horn there.
Yeah.
So number 10 is Trilogy of Terror 2 from 1996. I'm not familiar with this one. Quote, "You Never Wanted Me." The Trilogy of Terror films are made for TV horror anthology made by Dan Curtis, directing the original Dark Shadows TV series. The production values aren't great and the stories vary in quality, but the best are actually underrated. One of the freakiest is Bobby, about Alma, a woman whose young son, Bobby, obviously drowns. Shattered by grief, she uses a dark talisman to raise the boy from the dead. But something is off about this version of Bobby that returns. Pet Cemetery, shall we? Yeah. Anthony appears as a different character in each segment, delivering terrific and believable performances as a person broken by loss and loneliness. Unfortunately, Heron is not great in his admitted challenging role. I guess that's the person who played it. However, the movie compensates with a compelling story that escalates to truly grim places. Alma is tormented and tricked in the vilest of ways. Though rough around the edges, this movie is a surprising amount of fun and a great slice of 90s horror nostalgia. Oh.
Danny's grandma in Canada, her name is Alma.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is her middle name Matter?
I don't think so.
Who knows? I don't know. Yeah. Number 9 is Goodnight Mommy from 2014. I'm not familiar with this one, but it's got a set of twin boys.
Weird.
And they freak me out. Let's see. A dark atmosphere is at a premium here alongside themes of grief, isolation, and broken trust. Indeed, rather than using gore and over-the-top violence, Goodnight Mommy unsettles the audience with subtle visual cues and ever-increasing dread until the climax when it ceases to hold back. The director uses these elements to deftly spin a twisted tale of familial cruelty. Some horror fans might find it all a little too bleak and icy for their taste, but there's no denying its creepiness and taut construction. An English language remake starring Naomi Watts was released in 2022. Huh. So this one's actually Australian. It's Australian. About little fuckers trying to kill their mother. For this one either.
I've heard of it, yeah. I've never seen it, though.
It says Eden Lake is the feature debut by the Woman in Black, James Watkins, director, who also helmed the upcoming Speak No Evil with James McAvoy. Oh, that just came out recently. It centers on a young couple, Jenny and Steve. Oh, Michael Fassbender's in this. And Kelly Riley, no shit. Who head to a picturesque lake for a romantic getaway only to be tormented by a group of sadistic kids. There you go. Well, that could be fun.
Look, mine were not in the area at the time.
They say it's like very reminiscent of like Lord of the Flies mixed with like the Last House on the Left.
That's an odd combination.
Yeah,
but okay.
I'm kind of intrigued by that, to be honest with you. Let's see here.
Called?
It is called.
That's the Eden Lake.
Eden Lake. Yeah. Yeah. That's number 8 on the list. Number 7.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I didn't know anything about it though.
Yeah, me neither. Number 7 is The Brood from 1979.
Oh yeah, that's a classic, dude.
They're her children. More exactly, they're the children of her rage. It's grappling with the emotional fallout of his, this person, Frank Carveth, is grappling with the emotional fallout of his estranged wife Nola's involvement in a controversial psychiatric treatment known as psychoplasmics. Sounds like a band. Soon, Frank and Nola are It does. Sounds like, yeah.
Like a cover band.
Yeah.
That's a cover band.
Soon.
Psychoplasmics.
We're the Psychoplasmics. Next up, Eddie Murphy.
Or like
I want to party all the time.
Some like rockabilly band, dude. The Psychoplasmics.
Yeah. So soon Frank and Nola are terrorized by murderous children somehow connected to Nola's therapy sessions. Okay, so you said you have heard of that one?
I've heard of it, yeah.
You haven't seen it?
I want to say that I've seen it, but I don't. I might be getting it mixed up with something else. I've definitely heard of it though.
Number 6 is from 2009. I've seen this one. It's Orphan.
I fucking hate that movie.
It's not good. It's really not good. Quote,
I was so upset at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
I was like, you have got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked. Quote, I had to kill her because she was going to tell on me. Grieving couple Kate and John adopt a mysterious 9-year-old girl named Esther. After losing her child, initially charmed by Esther's intelligence and artistic talents, Kate soon begins to suspect that there is something deeply sinister lurking beneath the girl's innocent facade. Spoiler alert, she's actually like fucking 35 or some shit.
Dude, like, as soon as I like, because it was one of those, like, I was like watching it just kind of like, it didn't really have my interest, so I wasn't paying that much attention to it, right? But like, as soon as like I got the realization, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, as the reveal's about to come up, I'm like, you've got to be, I'm like, there's no fucking way that this is what's happening right now.
Yep.
And then like it hits and I was just like, fuck this movie.
Yeah, it's not great. But I mean, that's actually,
I don't know why that bothers me so much, that ending, but I'm like, this is the dumbest goddamn thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's weird. The way they had her makeup on at the end of it too, to make her look all old and shit.
That's what I'm
yeah,
like,
it was hokey. But who's that girl that was adopted? She's like a little person and she's all over the news. She's got I believe that's the correct nomenclature,
I don't
right?
fucking know, dude.
I believe so. I don't think it's like dwarf. I don't want to say the word because if it's
Well,
wrong, but
she could be a dwarf. I don't know.
yeah. Anyway, so she was adopted, and it turns out that she's like way fucking older than what she was initially. Yeah, dude. There's a whole like documentary.
They thought she was a kid because she was a fucking midget.
I think she was sold as a kid from the adoption agency.
Sold as a kid. Jesus.
Yeah, dude. Like it's weird, man. I have
This
to.
whole thing. This discussion is just ridiculous right now.
I'll have to look it up, and maybe we'll discuss. I'm sure we're gonna have people.
I mean, they sold her as a kid. And, it was false advertising. I'm not.
People are gonna be.
Hell,
They know who I'm talking about right now, and I've watched the documentary.
Although,
we'll talk about it.
I have to say, that would be the most. Can you fucking imagine being that person? You're like, oh, she's adorable. We'll take her. And then like 3 months later, you're like, she's like 47 years old, dude. Like, what the fuck?
That's
happened?
kind of like what it's like. Yeah, like it was weird. Like, yeah.
Like, how do you come to terms? Like, do you take her back? Like, what do you do?
It's weird. It's a weird fucking story. The
I would
whole
definitely
thing's
get my
weird.
fucking money back, though, right?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
You're like, bro.
Yeah, it's
Give me my
nuts.
fucking
It's a nuts story. Number 5 on the list is from 1976. Who Can Kill a Child? Never heard of this one. Moody raises his hand. Stop it. Quote, something strange had happened to the kids on the island. Who Can Kill a Child is a Spanish horror movie from filmmaker Narciso Ibanez Serrador, who also...
he makes guitars too, huh?
Yeah, Ibanez, yes.
Ibanez.
Who also directed the influential slasher The House That Screamed. The plot revolves around English couple Tom and Evelyn, who take a vacation on a secluded island. Upon their arrival, they discover that the island's adult population has mysteriously vanished, leaving only the children behind. Worse still, the kids have become dangerous and aggressive. So it's like school.
So it's a bunch of kids with ADD.
Right, yeah. Number 4 on the list. This movie was creepy when I was younger, but whatever. 1976, The Omen.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, though, dude. It's a good movie.
I'm sure you guys probably all know what that one is, but I'll say it anyway. Quote, I don't know if we've got the heir to the Thorn millions here or Jesus Christ himself. The quintessential adoption horror story, The Omen tells the story of the Thorn family who adopt a young boy named Damien and made everyone name their fucking kid Damien after that, following the tragic death of their child. As Damien matures, sinister occurrences unfold, revealing him to be no ordinary child, but rather the foretold Antichrist. Sorry.
Whoa.
Number 3, 1961, The Innocents. I don't know this one.
I've heard of it. The name. I mean, the name sounds familiar,
And
but I feel like that could be like 10 other movies too.
But it's not innocence. It's the innocent, like with a T at the end, like the innocent plural.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah. Quote, we lay, my love and I, beneath the weeping willow, but now alone I lie. Okay. Young governess Miss Giddens is hired to take care for 2 orphan children, Flora and Miles, at a remote English estate. She quickly becomes convinced that the estate is haunted by the malevolent spirits of the former governess, Miss Jessel, and the valet, Peter Quint, who exert a corrupting influence over the children from beyond the grave. Well, that sounds fucking horrible. Okay. Anyway, number 2 on our list, 1968, Rosemary's Baby. Yep. Yeah. This one's cool. Like, it was cool for its time. Quote, he chose you, honey, from all the women in the world to be the mother of his only living son. Yeah, you guys know what this movie's about. Literally, like a chick is giving birth to like the devil's baby. And then number 1, Moody, any ideas?
For what? It's Evil Children, so it could be I don't know, it could be a couple of things.
See, I thought Children of the Corn were going to be on it.
I was gonna say, like, so that's clearly not number 1.
It's not number 1.
Thanks for giving that away, dickhead.
Well, they chose The Exorcist for number 1.
Okay.
Which I guess makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. And of course, The Exorcist, which we've actually discussed multiple times in, you know, all kinds of shit throughout the history of our show and how it freaked everybody out and there were people throwing up and they had ambulances outside because people were passing out and all kinds of shit. Quote, what an excellent day for an exorcism. The Exorcist is one of the few movies that can compete with Rosemary's Baby in terms of influence. The classic tale of Regan McNeil's possession and the troubled priest enlisted to save her brought her to the new levels of critical respect. Your mother sucks dicks in hell. Anyway, you guys all know what that movie is. So there you go. That's your movies.
Cocks, your mother's
your mother, cocks and dicks. Cocks.
I mean, obviously, but still, it's the line is cocks.
Cocks. So there you go. That's the movies, and that is Feral Children. And we will touch base back on that, whether it's in a bonus or we'll do something else with it, because there are a lot more stories involved in it.
There's a couple other ones that I'd like to go over, to talk about, discuss.
Yeah, but you know, last time we talked about a bunch of like death and stuff, and you know, this time it was like a little more lighthearted, other than being called imbeciles and idiots and what was a low grade? What was the other one?
Low grade imbeciles and incurable idiots.
There you go. And you'll know what that is when we put it on a t-shirt. So make sure to stop over to our official website.
Come on over to our web spot.
Sounds like something my father would have called it. Yeah, for sure. Hey, how do I get that web spot on there?
You guys got themselves a web spot? You know where we can go and see you guys and stuff?
Y'all sell your music on the web spot? Now we have to start a website called WebSpot.
WebSpot.
WebSpot, yeah. So get over to midnighttrainpodcast.com. At our website, you can buy some super sweet merchandise.
Super sweet.
You can get all kinds of shirts, hats, phone cases. You can get everything over there and a whole lot more. And if you like what you heard from us, consider being a show producer by heading over to the midnighttrainpodcast.com and clicking on the Patreon button, or at patreon.com/the Midnight Train Podcast. For as little as,
you know what?
What's that?
If you didn't like it and you don't want to be a producer, then fuck you and keep your goddamn mouth shut about it.
Jesus Christ. Also, too, for all the bonus listeners, the Patreon subscribers or whatever, it is now actually available. You don't have to stream it on Patreon. You can actually stream it on Spotify. We got that all hooked up out there. Obviously, you still have to be a subscriber.
Yeah, I couldn't even go. I couldn't listen.
Yeah, but you don't have to. You don't have to. Go onto Patreon's, because Patreon's website can be a little bit tricky sometimes. Everyone uses Spotify. It's just easier. So get over there for as little as $5 a month. You can get all kinds of cool stuff, like we were mentioning, custom shirts, posters, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff.
For only $5 a month.
Wait, hold on. You talk. For
only $5 a month. You too can sponsor a podcast host.
Oh, man. So anyway, if you dug the show and you like it, get the Patreon. There's a ton of back catalog episodes, man. And there's some really funny stuff in there.
Become an incurable idiot or a low-grade imbecile for only $5 a month.
We should have that on there where you get to choose which one you want to be. Okay, I have to write this down. Give me a deal.
When you sign up, you have to pick one, dude.
Yeah, hold on. We send that. We have to send that to each other right now, because we're doing that. We'll do that after the show. Yeah. So anyway, don't forget to follow us on all of our socials. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're all over the place, especially, like we said, Spotify. If you can, give us a rating over there, 5 stars or more if you can, and on Apple Podcasts as well. And we can't thank you guys enough for all your love and support.
Baby.
Yeah,
spread the word.
Tell your friends about it.
Seriously.
And,
Or I'll
you
come
guys,
and find you.
You guys really do keep the train moving, and we appreciate you. And a very special first class pooper thank you to some very, very special people. And hold on, I got to turn this down because it's always so fucking loud.
That was bearable.
Amy Moses.
Yeah.
Ibrahim Moises, Samuel Beaver, Chelsea Benz, Timothy Moore, Jacob Knoll, Ms. P, Cassandra Fuentes, Jacob Peters, Stoner Babe 69, Tim Karras, Zoe Miller,
Dude,
Tracy
we got a
Valancourt.
Beaver and a Peters.
Yeah. We had a lot of cocks in here too at one point in time. To Zoe
Cocks
Miller,
and beavers.
Tim Karras, Tracy Valancourt, Edgar Rodriguez, Jenny Wynn, Riley with no last name, Chris Connors, Amanda C, Dale Wells, George DeJesus, Megan McTerry, Amanda Denz, Chris Lucas, Joseph Aramo, Nathan Diekman, Caitlin McKinney, Maggie Brothers, Rick Resler, Miles Campbell, Brian Gunsman, Pumpkin Escobar, Mac Doherty, Janet Sherrill, Chad Flint, who believes bullshit, and I called him out on it this time. I love you, buddy. Chris McLeod, Justin Kowalczyk, Christina Skelton from the Sister Skelton podcast. We miss you. To Maria Gibbs, to Chainsaw.
What the fuck?
To Courtney Batchelor, Katie Brabenick, and of course our good friend Bill Birch.
Oh, good for you.
So spread the word, and if you want your name to be mentioned on the show, to support the show, to, give us only $5 a month. We'll support this entire show and feed Moody's children because they're starving. And for us to be forever grateful, become a Patreon producer, all right?
Oh, shit, dude.
And then listen.
Yeah.
Until next time. Keep questioning. Keep exploring. And never stop seeking the truth. Also, stay safe out there, passengers. And as always, choo-choo, motherfuckers.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
You're all a bunch of incurable idiots and low-grade imbeciles.